Students, have you ever imagined a world in which you can't communicate to each other, in which you can't talk to each other, a place where you can't express your feelings in writing, you can't read a vocabulary that is in front of you, you are not able to understand those words what are written in front of you? Have you ever gone through such a phase of life? What are all these things connected to? These are all things connected to a language, a literature, a vocabulary, a script. Yes, my dear students, today we are going to discuss about the literature, vocabulary, scripts of some of the languages. We'll start from India. Myself, Himanshu Vats, your GK teacher, bringing today another new topic from page number 67 and 68 of your book. Some literatures that we'll discuss today and Indian music as well. Fine. So let's start with Odia literature, one of the prominent state of India. Yeah, that's Odisha. You are perfectly correct. Odisha state language is Odia. Okay, the name resembles. There's, I think, hardly any need to explain the connectivity to the state. Odia language is very deeply influenced with Sanskrit. ये संस्कृत भाषा से बहुत ज़्यादा इन्फ्लुएंस्ड है. इसकी काफ़ी vocabularies, the way of pronunciation is derived from Sanskrit language. Okay, Odia language came into being in 9th century AD. Okay, it came into being in 9th century AD. Till 13th century, it started getting its gaining its more popularity as its script was being introduced. It was being started writing and read as well. Some of the prominent Odia contemporary writers were Fakir Mohan Senapati, Radhanath Ray, Upendra Bhanja, and Sarla Dasa. These were some prominent ancient Odia writers who wrote some spectacular work in Odia literature. Fine. Now coming to a one more exciting and interesting language that is not very unknown to us. That is a language of which music we are very fond of listening. That is Punjabi. Okay, the Bhangra language. The Punjabi language, as again in Odia language also you can easily recall the state, and in Punjabi also you can easily identify the state that this is a language that is spoken mostly in Punjab state of India. Okay, the writing script of Punjabi language has been derived from Gurumukhi and Persian. Why Persian? Reason being that when Punjabi language was slowly taking its boom, at that particular time in India, the rulers were using Persian language. Okay, Arabic was also used up to a certain extent. Urdu was also there, but Persian was a more common language. So Punjabi had a mixed blend of Gurumukhi and Persian. Gurumukhi, of course, the language that was being used by the Guru of Sikh community. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the first Guru of Sikh religion, in fact, the founder Guru of Sikh religion, he composed the first poetry in Punjabi language. Okay, and then after that, many gurus came into being. There were in all 10 gurus in the Sikh religion, as we know. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, he was one of the learned person in this chain of founder members and the Guru of Sikh religion. Guru Gobind Singh Ji was educated in uh, Bihar, Patna. There he learned his further studies, and he excavated this language more. He developed this language more, and he wrote many works in this language, Punjabi language. And of course, one more name is to be mentioned over here is Bulle Shah. Bulle Shah was a Sufi saint. He also contributed is in his own way of singing and preaching by songs and other such uh, poems, okay, by which he contributed into Punjabi language. Now coming to one of the most famous language of our academic studies of entire globe, of now a part of Indian country as well, that is English. Dear students, in this part of our video, in this part of our topic in the book, we will be covering only those persons that contributed to English language. They either they were from India or they contributed into Indian literature. Means they wrote something that was related to India. Either they settled up in India, they wrote about India, or they wrote something about our country. So first of all, let's recall the prominent person from our country. Rajaram Mohan Roy. He was a famous social activist. He was a very learned person. He was from Bengal. So he found a need to learn English because उस समय at the time, being a social activist, what he found was, see, Britishers were ruling India at that particular time. So he found that in order to fight back the Britishers, in order to create a awareness in the society of freedom and of other social evils, he should use as many as language to communicate that can be possible to learn. He went for his higher studies also uh, abroad to India. Okay, and after getting a well knowledge of English, he wrote many literary work in English. In the same phase, there was Madhusudan Dutt, Aurobindo Ghosh. They were all almost of the same phase of Rajaram Mohan Roy. These were some early good writers. Okay, good people who wrote some good English content. After that, the people who did the work in English language were Rabindranath Tagore, of course, the person. Yes, Rabindranath Tagore, the famous Nobel Prize winner, the person who composed national anthem for our country and for uh, Bangladesh as well. Rabindranath Tagore, he wrote many literary works in different languages. In Bangla language, he was of course a legend, and same expertise he was having in English language as well. Sarojini Naidu, one of the freedom fighters for India, she also wrote many good works in English language. Then our first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he also wrote some good literary works, some good books, some novels in English. Some of those famous two novels were Discovery of India, Glimpse of World History. Okay, Glimpses of World History. There were some more few names that we'll be discussing in this video. Please be with us, keep watching it. I will be letting you know some more names like Khushwant Singh and all, who were the part of modern day contributor in English language. So please keep watching it. Okay, dear students, let me continue with the prominent contributors in English language, the Indian contributors. Let's start with the poetry. It's Nissim Asgal, Dom Mores, Arun Kolkar, Dilip Chitre. These were some prominent poets who contributed in English literature from our side, Indian side. And as far as the novelists are concerned, the people who wrote great novels, in this, of course, modern day writers are also being included. Jhumpa Lahiri, Kamala Markande, Khushwant Singh, a very renowned novelist. He usually writes on, natures as well. Okay, nature and the other social issues. Salman Rushdie, as the name pronounced, uh, it seems to be a Kashmiri. Vikram Seth, Arundhati Roy, again a very good and a renowned famous novelist, and Kiran Desai. So, dear students, this was about the literature, English literature, Odia literature, and Punjabi literature, which we have discussed in the video. I will be trying to cover one more topic, that is Hindustani classical music. In music, we will be covering Hindustani classical music in the same video. So please keep watching and let me refresh you with the more new knowledge. Dear students, we are with yet another interesting topic, that is music. I think music is not bound to be introduced. ऐसी कोई डेफिनेशन नहीं है, कोई एक लाइन का वर्ड नहीं है जो म्यूजिक को डिफाइन कर सके. देर इज नो सिंगल लाइन विच कैन बाउंड म्यूजिक. म्यूजिक इज यूज बाई डिफरेंट पीपल इन अ डिफरेंट वे इन द वॉक्स ऑफ लाइफ. हर लोगों के लिए म्यूजिक की एक अपनी अपनी अलग अलग डेफिनेशन हैं. सम पीपल लिसन म्यूजिक व्हेन दे फील अलोन, सम पीपल लिसन म्यूजिक व्हेन दे फील सैड, depressed. Some people listen music when they feel happy. So music has different meanings in different walks of life of the people. ये हमारे टेस्ट पर डिपेंड करता है कि हमें किस तरह का म्यूजिक सुनना कब और किस टाइम पसंद आता है. ओके, एज फार एज द इंडियन म्यूजिक इज कंसर्न, इंडियन म्यूजिक इज अ ट्रेडिशनली old, based on old traditions. Okay, modern music is of course in the system, but we are lucky enough that our old traditions are still collected in our Indian music. हमारी जो पुरानी सभ्यताएं हैं, जो परंपराएं हैं, वो आज भी हिंदुस्तानी म्यूजिक में साफ झलकती हैं, जो क्लासिकल म्यूजिक है. We will be discussing the Hindustani classical music today in this video. It is said that the origin of this system was very much related to the Vedic age. Okay, the annual scripts of Hindus, the annual spiritual book of Hindus. Okay, in North India, the music came into being in 13th to 14th century. There were many prominent musicians. If we can go back to the history, one of the most famous names were like Tansen. Tansen was the court singer of अकबर. यस, वो अकबर के नवरत्नों में से एक थे, एंड ही वाज अ प्रोमिनेंट सिंगर, एंड वी हैव heard in many stories the power of music which was sung by तानसेन. वो उस म्यूजिक के अपने बिहाफ पर काफ़ी ऐसी चीज़ें कर देते थे दैट वाज लाइक अ मैजिक. ओके, so in North India, the music came into being in 13th to 14th century, and it was being influenced by Vedic philosophy and Persian element. How so? Why Persian elements? Because as we have discussed this in GK and SST many a times in our Indian history, at that time the rulers who were ruling India, they were basically from the slave dynasty, the Turks. So the Persian blend was of course to be there with the music, because they used Persian languages for communicating. So it had a Persian elements. And why Vedic philosophy? See, many of the musics that were prevalent in India were based on their gods, on the deities, on the goddess, like prayers, okay, shloks, and different types of such bhajans. So it was having Vedic philosophy in it as well. Fine. It was the Indian music system is based on raga, the raga system, and the raga system is based on melodic scales. So there are seven different notes of Indian classical music, and those seven notes are very famous again. We recite them in a one go as sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, isha. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. Okay, these are the seven notes: sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. Okay, and this Indian classical music was more a vocal based music. It was not like that it was being written somewhere, कि कहीं उसको पहले लिखा गया फिर उसको सिंग करा गया, या सिंग करने के बाद दोबारा लिखा गया. इट वाज स्ट्रेट अवे फ्रॉम द हार्ट, स्ट्रेट अवे अ वोकल आर्ट. व्हाट वर द वोकल सेंट्रिक फॉर्म्स? ख्याल, गजल, ध्रुपद, टप्पा, tarana, and thumri were some of the uh, basic forms of Indian classical music. And of course, if I have given the name of Tansen, Amir Khusrau was also a very renowned singer. Nowadays, we know the names of the modern singer like Arjit Singh and Lata Mangeshkar ji, she is a living legend, female uh, singer. Okay, and many such names are there. Udit Narayan ji is there. Many male and female singer has now ever came in modern India. We know those prevalent names, but still we will go to a certain depth and we will see ki how this musicians of the earlier days affected and this sing their way. उन्होंने किस तरह से अपने सॉन्ग में इन चीजों को आगे रिफ्लेक्ट किया. हाउ डिड दोज vocalist reflected these six different forms in the Indian classical music. So let's see, keep watching the explanation. Okay, now dear students, continuing the major vocal forms of Hindustani classical music. I am not pronouncing it by the name of Indian classical music because it was a art that was already being developed when our entire country was named as Hindustan. One of the form of vocal music, Hindustani vocal music, was Thumri. It was an informal way of music. It was being more used, adopted by Nawab Wajid Ali Shah of Awadh, the Awadh area, the northern India, again the northern India area, the Ayodhya area, modern day Ayodhya Faizabad. And since it was used by the Nawabs, so it was more in those days used in the palaces and the you can say the courts, okay, by the kings. Fine, it was not a pretty common art at that particular time. Now the second variety was khayal. Khayal included Persian music, and it was this art came into being in the medieval period. Persian music, why? Because Persian language was very much prevalent at that particular time. What does khayal means? Khayal in the Hindi word straight away you can easily predict. It means imagination. जब आप किसी चीज को सोचते हैं, फैंटेसी, इमेजिनेशन, इम्प्रोवाइजेशन, जब आप किसी चीज को अपने मन में इन योर माइंड think so much about a particular thing, and that can go to at any limit. Okay, the poet, the singer can think of any imagination, any limits of imagination. The next form was Drupad. It is one of the oldest form of vocal Hindustani music. It was being recited by the male singers. Okay, and it was more in poetic form. ये कविता शैली में ज्यादा होता था, in the way of poems. And Tansen was the master of this particular art. He was one of the oldest and he was the master king in Drupad art. Now coming to the next variety, it's Tappa. Tappa was uh, prevalent in 18th century. It was being used by the nomadic people of Punjab area who used to herd camels, जो अपने camels को camels use करते थे एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जाने के लिए. They can be a nomadic lifestyle also, and these were the people of Punjab. Okay, and these tappa included the blend of passion and affection. Okay, for somebody. And of course, since it was used by the riders of camel riders of Punjab, so basically these were having a Punjabi language blend in it. Okay, a Punjabi language accent was there. Moreover, after that, this was being given a classical form of music by Mia Ghulam Nabi Shori. Okay, we are still left with two more vocal forms of Hindustani music. We will be soon covering this in this particular video. Okay, class. Now we are into the final winding of of this session of music, which we have undertook of page number 68 of your book. Now, the second last form of vocal music was tarana. It was medium to fast-paced music that was usually being presented at the end of a concert. Okay, and yes, what I was saying is this tarana was including a medium to fast paced music, means the speed was increasing from medium to fast pace, and this was usually being sung when a concert was being at the end of its completion. These taranas compose the line of poetry in rhythmic syllables. Okay, they were in a particular rhythm. Okay, like the poetry lines. Fine. Then the last category of vocal form of Hindustani classical music was ghazals. Of course, we know ghazals are very much common in modern day India as well. Maybe you guys might not be aware of this particular way of singing as you are too young to understand, but later on in your later ages you will come to know that what are ghazals, since ghazals are still prevalent in the modern day India as well. These are rhyming couplets. These are composed of different type of emotions like affection, devotion, care, a love for a mother to his child, a child to his mother, to his parents, father, family. Okay, these type of affections and emotions. Ghazals in 6th century, they were deeply influenced by the Arabic poetry, or you can say Arabic poetry was slowly getting converted into ghazals. In 12th century, it went till South Asia also, these ghazals, because of the South mystics. So, dear students, this was an effort. This was an attempt to make you understand the topic of music. I hope you would have got some idea regarding the music. Rest all thing you will take a reading once again from the book, or you will watch this video once again. You will get more better understanding of the topic. Okay, that much for the day today. Thank you and have a nice day.